So when I see him vote for me, it was like, he just agreed with Josh. I thought, what a cop out. Like,
Yeah.
I've been a good friend to you. And he literally done me over. And I thought, that's so bad for you.
That's not cool.
Proper snaky, man.
Hello, I'm Harriet Rose and Under the Duvet is back. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. As you know, we're dropping the podcast every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and then the following day at 12 p.m. you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. And you may notice I am not alone. I'm joined by the gorgeous haired all-star. It's Joe! Welcome, Joe.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate
you?
it. I'm good. It's it feels good to be back.
Yeah.
Very short stint there.
I wasn't gonna...
Arguably, I barely even got my clothes out.
Yeah,
That
you
was
were there about
ridiculous.
15 minutes, weren't you?
At tops, I was only 13, I think. Yeah,
Lucky
very,
number,
very
eh?
short, very short. I'm not salty. I'm sweet, I swear.
I definitely can't get that vibe from you at all, and your Instagram captions or anything. You feel like you had long enough there.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? I was just so shocked.
Tell me how many days you were actually there.
I think it was like 3 days. How crazy is that? 3 days. I just did not expect it at all. So when they said my name, I went, what?
Give me a break.
3 days, guys. Where's my immunity? Come on.
Do you know what? I did feel for you because what I love about, sometimes people hide. It's like, oh no, guys, I'm fine. You were like, no, I'm really annoyed, actually.
I'm not going to play it cool.
I flew all the way here.
I was shocked. I was very shocked.
I bet you were.
I thought, a lot of them were my friends, so I thought they'd keep me, but apparently they're not. Who knew?
I want to properly get into this, but first I just want to talk about your gorgeous hair for a
Thanks.
sec.
Right, let's do this.
Tell me about
being
it. Like,
kind.
what are the top tips to get Joe gorgeous locks?
So basically, you get in the shower,
Right. Good
and
start.
then what you do is you just wet it, and then you
Just wet.
just wet it, and you jump out of the shower, and then you scrunch it a little bit.
With your
and
hands?
then you get in the passenger seat of a car, and obviously safely, just stick your head out the window a little bit, let it go back,
Yeah.
and then do the reverse, so it goes backwards.
Right.
And as Ian Sterling would say, get dragged through a bush backwards.
Yeah,
which
I was
is,
going to say, good. Can't you
thanks
just use
so
the
much
bush?
for that. I
Yeah.
probably could have. And that's how you'll get a Joe Garrett hair.
Wow. So you need to go through a bush backwards to be Joe Garrett.
As Ian Sterling said. Thanks for that, Ian.
Yeah,
Appreciate
well,
it.
listen, it looks fab. I'm glad it's shining and glistening just as much as it was on the show.
Well, thank you.
How was your plane journey back with Joanna?
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, do you know what? I always say this. It must be so hard to leave that villa on your own. Kaz had to do it. And honestly, I felt for her so bad.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of just leave it with someone and then have that journey back home with them. So yeah, me and Joe get on really, really well.
Did you actually snog on the plane? Because I know you did a TikTok where you looked like you were going to snog.
No. We were just playing around. I've known Joe for years.
Yeah.
Like even we had to kiss in a challenge and we were like so weirded out by it. But no, it was she's just a friend. Always kind of has been. Always will be, really.
I can't get my head around like being in an environment like that with friends.
You're right.
And having to put my tongue in my friend's mouth, because that to me, I can't.
It's weirdly normal. I don't know why it is weirdly normal. Just because you're like, as soon as a challenge happens, you're going to be kissing someone. So I think there's this like general consensus around the room of just like, look, we're going to have to kiss each other. Let's just get on with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's giving like spin the bottle when I was in sixth form.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So incestuous.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah.
But I think also the funny part to me is when you have to, because that's weird. And then also in some of the challenges, like, okay, snog the person you think's the biggest dick. And it's like, so not only are you telling someone they're a dick, but you're also putting your tongue in their mouth.
Whilst implying that they're the dick.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. Yeah.
And also state of play of Love Island, no?
that is, again, very, very normal in that villa.
That
So
makes me feel
weird.
anxious.
No, I get it.
And I love snogging. Like, I would say of my top 5 things, snogging would be number 1.
What comes in the top 5?
Like, I love my cat.
Oh, I've got a cat.
Do you really have a cat?
British short hair, yours?
Oh my God, he's a Burmese.
Oh, no
His name's
way.
Leonard Cohen, but Lenny for short.
Oh, mine's called Gizmo from the film Gremlins.
I love Gremlins.
Yeah,
Oh my
amazing.
God. Are you a lesbian?
I could be, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to get on well.
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, we have to talk about your shock dumping from the villa, but first, let's get into the latest drama of last night, because in last night's episode, there was a bit of a fallout between the couples during the Couple Goals Challenge. Honestly, it was a mess from start to finish to watch. Everyone was just arguing the whole time.
Whole time.
Georgia H and Josh clash because it feels like Josh doesn't believe in Georgia H and Anton. Now, tell me what you saw in the villa? What are we not seeing? What's he seeing?
So from what I see, they actually get on really, really well.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I do look, it's a hard one because I wasn't in them from the start, clearly, and Josh has obviously seen their relationship develop. Obviously, I've only been watching from the outside, and there is a massive difference between outside the villa watching and inside of. From what I could see inside of, Anton and Georgia H were getting on really, really well. So it is a hard one. So I don't know what I've missed in previous days by not being there. Maybe Josh has seen something I haven't, but
Are they sexy together?
I think
by that I mean
they
sexual.
They kiss and cuddle. They kiss
Yeah.
and cuddle. I
Yeah.
think, it's Anton is very respectful towards Georgia's boundaries, and I completely understand that.
Because he's quite touchy-feely and she's not.
Sure, exactly, yeah. But you know, in my opinion, they get on. I don't know what Josh has seen that I haven't, but again, a very short stint. I'm not going to see a lot, am I? I barely had time to graft. 3 days.
Yeah, not long, babe.
Come on.
Not long. Wasn't fair.
Yeah.
One question for you is love languages. They were talking about the love languages a lot last night. I do, in my own personal relationships, think it is a big block. If, say, for example, for me, I'm quite touchy-feely. If the other person isn't, I don't think my relationship with them will go that far forward because that is quite a big, like, I love a bit of PDA. As I've said, snogging, top 5 things.
Sure.
So what's your thoughts on that? Do you think if someone has drastically different love languages?
It is hard. I think love languages are a massive thing. I think unless energy is reciprocated, I would equally struggle, just as you said there.
Yeah.
I would struggle so much to get on with that. But I also believe that Anton's being like super understanding of Georgia.
And it might be that they're in a telly show.
It might just be the intensity of it in there. Do you know what I mean? And they might just actually want to like have that more respect and then do it more so on the outside. But I do see them cuddling. I do see them kissing. It's not like they touch quite a bit, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's just not, let's say, like the bedroom kisses that we've all been seeing and stuff. It's not, I guess it's not that intense because there have been some intense kissing.
Yeah, who's the most intense kissing at night?
Again, I would not know as I did not make it upstairs.
In the
I
3
knew
days
I
you
would
were in
not.
there.
I think Josh and Sophie kiss a lot.
Yeah.
They kiss a lot. Yeah, they kiss
They kiss a lot.
They kiss a lot.
They kiss a lot.
It's kind of cool.
Well, good for them.
Good for them.
Happy Valentine's Day to them.
Yeah, to them. And then there's us single sitting here. In England.
We can get together if you want.
Done. I'm so down.
Happy Valentine's
Okay, which
Day.
one should go out after?
You just have to be, you do have to become a bit more of a lesbian for me. I mean, you've got a cat, so it's a good start, and your hair is fab. So
Perfect.
it's going the right way.
We are so doing this.
Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, babe.
Happy Valentine's.
Call me babe.
Babe. Why did I just do the babe?
Babe.
I hated it.
This is the most romantic thing that's ever happened to me. What's your love languages, Joe?
Oh, so this is the thing. I don't really have love language.
That's the red flag.
I like to. No. I like to. Only way I feel love is by giving love, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so your love language is what? Giving gifts or giving attention or giving time?
Gifts, time, and acts of service.
So quality time, acts of service.
Acts of service mainly. Like I really like doing things for girls. I don't know what it is. I just like simple things.
And do you like having that done back to you, like girls doing stuff for you, like nice stuff?
Come on. No, yeah, no, I guess a little bit. Yeah, it's cute. I don't know.
Joe, you need to work this out. You should have worked out. This is probably why you only spent 3 days in Love Island.
I'm 27, still single, and 3 days in Love Island. Clearly, I haven't worked out my love language. I just like doing love rather than receiving. I struggle to receive it.
Oh.
Don't make it cringe.
Wow.
Yeah, heartbroken, hey.
No, but we can work on that
We
together
can
as
so
a
do
gay
this.
couple.
Let's do this.
Yeah, okay. Arabella, your very quick girlfriend, who you quite quickly kind of swished that off when you came out.
Yeah.
I rated you for that because you were like, nah, it was just. So was it real when you were in there?
Yeah, look, it was such a short time.
Yeah.
How much can you really get to know someone on that level? So the reason I shut it down as soon as I come out is because I knew very well that she's gonna find someone else in there, and I like super understand that because we'd just started barely. Do you know what I mean? Barely even scratched the surface. And for me, I kind of realized I was like, maybe actually this is a bit of time for me to kind of go away and work on myself. So I thought I maybe just let her do her thing. That's absolutely fine. And I'd rather just be friends with her, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We were friends before, so I'd rather just keep a friendship.
Did anything happen between you two other than friends before the villa?
No, she said this. She said something happened years ago, and it was more We just had a little flirt, a very, very brief flirt.
I really enjoy that, like, if I was to be called out on every person that I have flirted with.
Oh, I'll be right in trouble.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I flirted with you in 2015. I'm like, I would assume yes, like
Also,
maybe.
I don't know if you have this too. I have a very friendly personality.
Yeah.
And that can be misconstrued for flirty at times.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's just me being friendly. So, yeah, maybe it was friendly, maybe it was flirty. I don't know, but it was very, very brief. Again, ages ago, nothing happened. So when she mentioned it, I'm like, was that a thing?
Yeah.
Was that a real thing? But apparently it was to her.
Apparently it was. Well, let's just hope that not all the people I flirted with are thinking about it, because
Right, you're right in trouble.
too many of them.
Please comment below
Please.
if you feel like you have been flirted with.
What do you make of her and Adam?
Look, they seem solid. They seem solid. I think.
That's kind of funny after 3 days.
Right. So I think this is the thing with Arabella. She's such a nice girl, and I think she really wants to find someone. And I feel like this is what's happened. I feel like she's waited around the whole time, and she's been coupled up and lost. And I feel like she's kind of had a bit of a knight in shining armor towards the back end of her experience, and it's Adam. So yeah, I think he's matching her energy. He says he likes physical touch, so does she. I feel like they spend a lot of time together, so it's nice to see her actually have that with someone.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, we obviously had that too, but I'm not in there no more, so it's nice to see her have that.
Yeah, and they did start talking about having kids, which was
Very early in my eyes.
Yeah.
That is bloody quick.
I think in everyone in the world's eyes, it's early.
I think, yeah, it was, where are you moving to at one point? He
Yeah,
then
that
says,
was the conversation. Yeah, where are you moving
Battersea,
to? Yeah.
which is where she lives. And
Yeah.
then they moved on to kids very swiftly.
Yeah, he was like, and when we have kids, I do want a dog. I was like, whoa.
There we go. But look, if you know what you want, why would you not get it, you know?
I mean, 3 days is a stretch, but sure. I'm glad she's having a nice time. I agree. I think it's nice that she's got someone. I love his accent.
Yeah.
He does seem like a big rock.
Yeah, I feel like she needed that. So he was the one.
He needed a big rock. She needed a big rock, and one came in.
One big rock of Adam.
Yeah. So basically, we've got good vibes for Arabella. You've got no bad.
No.
There's no negative energy. You're going to be pals on the outside.
Yeah,
you're
gonna
going
be
to you're
sweet.
going to be out here working on your love languages. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I need. With you, I'm going to be working on my love languages.
Together. We're going to get through this. The heart rate challenge
Yes.
made things a bit orky-porkies in the villa, didn't it?
That is the best challenge on earth.
I hate it.
Why?
To watch. Don't like it. Don't want to
Really?
watch that. Don't want to see it. Don't want to watch them dancing around. I don't want to watch the pain in their eyes as they move their bodies and they feel like they want to fall into a
You
hole.
know for a fact that is the most intense thing. And also the walk from like the door to the fire pit in your outfit, that is a long walk. That's a good 10-second walk from the doors of the fire pit. That's a lot. That is a lot. And everyone's looking at you, clapping, raring you on. Honestly, I'd want the earth just to open up.
Yeah,
and
I would want to fall into a hole and never get out.
Absolutely.
And I feel that when I watch it. Molly and Tom were the couple whose heart rate was raised the least by each other.
Tricky.
What's that tricky stuff? What's that saying about them, do you think?
So I have a theory, and this is my theory after watching the show for many, many years. Now, you always feel a bit more intense and a bit more anxious when you're not supposed to be doing something. Am I
Yeah.
right? So when your ex comes out and you know for a fact that you're not meant to be getting your heart raised, that intensity is building within you.
Yeah.
So therefore your heart is naturally going to be pumping more. So I believe that it is a bit of it's counterproductive, let's just say. But at the same time, if we're going to go off what we think, it isn't obviously a good sign, is it, that the hearts are raised at least by one another?
Yeah, I think you're right, because when you think about it literally, it's like, well, you've seen, I assume, that person naked.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only person you've seen naked in this villa.
Right.
So maybe,
Yeah.
you know, emotion memory.
Yeah.
Going
That's
back
a thing.
to that.
We
Yeah.
have them.
Yeah, we have emotions and memories.
We do.
Okay, so the other thing I garnered was there seems to be a shift in focus towards Molly and Callum
Yeah.
getting back together. That smile says everything.
Honestly, from in there, I didn't know this. But obviously, as I've come out, literally, I've done a Q&A on Snapchat,
Yeah.
and everybody was asking, is Callum and Molly going to get back together? I was so shocked. I did not think that was even a thing. Like,
So I didn't, and it has come out of surprise, out of nowhere for me, but it has come out. And I'm feeling the vibe.
you
because
like it, don't you? You like the idea of this. Why do I like the idea of this since coming out? It's so weird.
I love it.
I didn't think about it until I come out, and now I'm out on the outside reading everyone's comments. I'm like, yeah.
I think it's
Why
because
not?
they've dealt with it. They've dealt with both of them being in the villa so maturely.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm kind of standing that.
We love a love story, right?
We love a love story.
We'd love to see them rekindle. I get it. My personal opinion, I don't think it's going to happen from what I see on the inside.
It'd be interesting to see what their TikTok algorithms were saying on the outside. I wonder if they'd be getting a lot of those. I'm seeing in your future an ex is in the villa with you. Do you know what I mean? Every time you have an ex partner.
And you are going to make breakfast together. Strange.
Strange.
Very strange.
But true.
I could not. With my ex, there is absolutely no chance I could be that civil.
Yeah, no.
Because I think after 6 months, you either still love the person or you hate them. Like, there is this, the emotions are still so raw, no?
Yeah, 6 months is a short time.
Very short period of time.
I do feel like watching Molly as another girl, I'm looking at her and thinking, you might still have feelings there. Callum is more of a closed book in general emotionally, I think. But with her, I can see that.
Well, didn't she want to get back with him at the start?
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't think them feelings kind of dwindle that quickly. And also as well, I think Tom asked her a question yesterday and he said, can't remember exactly how the question went, but it was...
I rated it this. I know exactly what you're talking about. I
was
really
something
rated it. He said, are you absolutely over Callum, or do you ever want to get back with Callum?
And I think she said something along the lines of still having love for that person or something like that.
She basically said 6 months is a very short period of time to be completely over someone, but I have no interest in pursuing. Like,
Sure.
and I was like, that is a mature response.
That's a good
It's like,
response.
that's the truth. And I do believe, like, with exes, especially if something absolutely horrific hasn't happened.
Yeah, of course.
It's like you're always going to have love for that person.
100%.
So she's not lying. And I think that's like,
Spot on answer.
yeah.
Even though it was probably, he might have struggled to hear that because, you know what guys are like with their egos and pride and stuff. But fair play to her for answering correctly.
Yeah. And he obviously got his heart rate raised more by Georgia S.
So strange. It's just that is the best challenge ever. Like, if it's gonna ruffle feathers, that challenge is gonna do it.
Yeah, and it's also coming out that maybe she's still flirting a bit with Tom.
Yeah, so I didn't see any of that.
And also, maybe is she a bit like us and she flirts a lot with sort of
There
everyone?
we go.
I don't
Is she
know.
just very friendly?
Yeah.
You know?
But you didn't see any of that when you were in there.
No.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't see anything of the sort. So it was weird. Like Georgia S and Toby spent all their time together. Like literally, they're like inseparable. So I
Really?
didn't see any of that. But maybe it's developed. Things move so quickly in there. Like anything can just happen. So
And Georgia S did say sorry to Molly during the challenge.
Yeah.
Now, I did watch that and she did say it quite quietly.
right.
As in, I don't think she was like, oh, sorry. But people are perceiving it lots of different ways. Like,
Sure.
what do you think? Do you think it was a genuine, like, sorry, that's awkward? It's like Orkies, awkward.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I think maybe she meant it. I mean, look, they've had not a feud, but they've had like an ongoing kind of back and forth for quite some time in that villa now. So I think hopefully, fingers crossed, it's time for them to quash that and be cool.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
You just don't think they are.
No, I think they probably they're being very civil with each other, but I don't think they're going to be best mates. But I think that's fine.
Because you have to be in the villa together, don't you? It's like
Yeah.
it's a very intense environment.
Yeah,
You're
of
better off
course.
just kind of shaking hands and leaving it rather than.
And when you were in there, did you really feel that tense environment when you went in? Because I feel like the Islanders are now getting a bit like stir crazy. They're a bit like,
So I felt the tense moments as soon as a game or challenge took place. It was very, very friendly, very, very civil until a game is announced, till we get a text, we're gonna have a game, or this is gonna happen, and then all of a sudden everyone you can tell that, like, it just starts to build and everyone just knows something's gonna kick off.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, on the first challenge, I sat there and thought, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
There's gonna be no issues. Everyone's so cool right now.
Yeah.
Within literally 10 minutes, issue, drama, comments, like evil looks. I'm like, oh my.
what
this
was
is-
the biggest thing you noticed in that challenge?
I just think, do you know what it is? I noticed from the kissing challenge, it was like who people were choosing to kiss and the reasons of. I remember the first challenge was Josh kissed Georgia still on the cheek. I think it was something to do with followers, about gaining followers or something like that.
Yeah.
And it literally
Who's
just
in- yeah, who's-
erupted. Within
yeah.
literally split second, erupted. And it was just like issues. And because of course, that's a pretty heavy claim to make that someone's just there for clout rather than love. So it
But
was
let's be really brutally honest. Can you go on a show like Love Island just for love?
So I've said this every time someone's asked me. I'm so distracted, right, on the outside world through social media, and even when I'm like meeting someone, trying to get to know them, there's so many other people who like are tapping in and whatever else. I like to focus solely on one person. There is no better place to be present and with someone when you have no communication to the outside world. It's just you getting to know someone for who they actually are. Since coming home, I'm literally on my phone like 24/7, and I don't like it. It's weird. I'm distracted. I'm not there. Brain fog. You literally have this like perfect moment to get to know someone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I wanted. Didn't get, obviously. But it is a really, really nice opportunity to get to know someone. So look, I'm not stupid. I'm pretty sure there are some people in there who might have gone in there very well aware that they could get good engagement and clout and whatever else off the back of it. But yeah, my mentality the whole time was it's going to be a sick way to meet someone in this industry and get to know them and build a strong connection before we have to face the outside world type vibe.
Yeah, and you know what? I spoke to Chris before he went in, and he genuinely was going in to meet someone.
100%. He was there for the right reasons.
Yeah, and you can tell because I think we'll go into this a little bit later, but like the way when Joe left, he didn't want to be there anymore.
Absolutely.
And I think that's when you can really tell that someone is authentic and genuine.
100%.
Because he was like, well, why would I stay and like couple up with someone else?
Exactly.
Talking about that, public voted for their favourite couples when we said goodbye to Casey and Eve. Were you surprised that they got voted out?
No, I think because earlier on in the episode, we obviously see that Casey was unsure as to whether it was something serious with Eve.
Yeah.
And again, I quite rate him for just being upfront and honest. Look, a lot of people in the back end might play it smarter and just think, actually, let's just knuckle down towards the end. But instead, he was just like, look, it's just not there kind of thing. And you've got to hold your hands up and say fair play.
Yeah.
I think it's better to be upfront and honest and take the hit rather than drag something and put someone through more pain, you know?
Yeah.
So I wasn't shocked. And I'm sure he won't be in neither will Eve. So
No, yeah. I mean, he did go in and try and date his best friend's girlfriend, which I thought was
strange.
was a bold move.
Yeah, it was strange. She shut it down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, slay for him. You go for gold, boy.
well, look, I think they're obviously guys who have the same type, clearly.
Yeah. Sophie and Josh are coming forward as a fan favourite.
Yeah.
But maybe the votes aren't showing that, like, because obviously they were in the bottom 3 of the being voted favourite couple.
Of course.
Yeah.
I've seen lots of comments again about them guys and on the outside, and it is nice to see, to be fair, because they do really, really get on. They're obviously building a connection in there. I really do hope it lasts on the outside. But again, we don't know, but yeah.
Out of all of them, I would say they were one of the top couples that are likely to.
Well, I think, look, you have Sophie and Josh, Molly and Tom, and who's Anton and Georgia H, who have had the longest time as a couple in there. It's a very short period of time. 5 weeks is a very, very short show. And that is literally, they are the top 3 because they've been together for the longest. So they've definitely built a stronger connection. But I'm excited to see where Callum and Jess kind of to go from here. They seem like they're getting on. So
Yeah.
it'd be nice to see if they develop. But again, they haven't really got long left to show that, I guess.
Yeah. They seem to be having a nice time.
Yeah, they're just chilling,
Yeah.
vibing out.
Except for the fact that his heart rate got raised by his ex-girlfriend, which was a little bit.
Again, isn't ideal, is it? When you're
Not
getting to know
ideal.
someone, not ideal. You don't need that. You don't need that.
But also, I would just be doing like Kundalini while it was happening. I'd be like,
What's that one in anger management when he's like a goose flapper?
Yeah,
Goose
yeah, yeah,
flapper,
yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah,
calm
yeah.
yourself down.
yeah.
Bring that heart right
I think
down.
Chris did it in the villa where he was like trying to chill himself out.
Like
He was
Wim Hof,
He
like
was
the breathing exercise.
yeah, and he was trying to
Okay.
calm himself down. He kept saying like landing, living room, Greg's, like different
he's
words.
making
Just
himself
calm down.
present.
Yeah.
Chris, you smart man.
You smart man. Talking of that, we've lost a lot of Islanders over the past week.
Oh, they've been
Obviously-
dropping like flies.
Yeah, you and Joanna were obviously voted out by your fellow Islanders, and we'll
Yeah.
come back to that in a second. But we need to talk about my babe, Chris Taylor.
Yes,
He's gone.
I know. Which I would have loved to have seen him do the heart rate challenge. Could you have imagined Chris?
It would have been iconic.
He would have come out in a bunny suit, just like tail at the back.
On his season, he did the heart rate challenge the day he arrived.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so intense.
He was a bombshell on the day of the heart rate
I haven't
challenge.
watched that.
Yeah. So I'm gutted about that. But also I feel very proud of him because the minute he knew he couldn't be there anymore,
Yeah.
he made that clear and then he was gone. And I'm just really
Again.
happy because he can't be fake.
No,
he can't
exactly.
pretend that he's got a connection with somebody else. Like
Which goes to show he was there for the right reasons. And
Yeah.
obviously, people do question this in the outside world, and I'm fully aware of why they question it.
Yeah.
Because of the industry and how people can be. But yeah, he was definitely there for the right reasons. He wanted to go.
Yeah.
He was like, that's it, I've had enough.
And Toby was literally crying tears when he left.
Toby and Chris were so close in there.
Yeah.
Literally. If Toby wasn't spending time with Georgia S, he was with Chris.
Yeah.
Like in the mornings, they would always just be chilling on the same little couch bit. They were so solid.
So they were also basically a couple.
Yeah,
A friend
yeah.
couple.
Yeah, so he's
love
like,
that.
yeah, he's had to leave Toby, which is sad.
Do you think he's a big loss for the Villa? Because it seems I think the energy has changed quite a lot since he's left. Now, that might be because it's nearly the end,
Sure.
everyone's tired, but it does seem like it's more, I don't know, I've just noticed like when I'm watching it, there's less frivolity.
Yeah, I think what Chris brings to any room he enters is just this high energy and craziness. And I feel like you actually do need that in there because you do got a bit doolally in there. Like you're losing your mind a little bit. You don't have to touch the outside world. You're creating things throughout the day just to kind of feel the time.
Yeah.
And Chris is the perfect person for that. He will
Yeah.
he will fill a void with whatever has to be. I even watched on unseen bits him holding a lizard. And now that may seem silly on the outside, but that honestly would have entertained people for so bloody long.
Yeah.
So you are
How
right.
did he catch a lizard?
He's a lizard man. Did you not know this about
no,
Chris?
I
he's
didn't.
he's a lizard man.
lizard.
He's a lizard man.
He's a lizardman.
Yeah.
Do you think that him and Joanna might rekindle things on the outside?
Look, I think she was within her right to have like how many times you get to know someone at the start of a relationship. Don't forget it was such a short period of time. And you'll be getting to know someone, dating them, getting on really, really well. And the next thing you know, you see them liking a girl's bikini picture or something
Yeah.
like that. And you're like, hold on, let me take a step back. This is a
Yeah.
bit weird, do you know what I mean? Like any little thing can just throw a spanner in the works, but it is normally very, very temporary.
Yeah.
In there, it is so heightened. So when you have a little spanner in the works, it becomes this big, massive cog and the whole system shuts down.
Yeah.
However, I could definitely see in her eyes, and I'm speaking to her since leaving, how in the final moments, he was so protective and kind around the fire pit on that last challenge of her that you could see her just completely change. I even knew from her eyes just across the fire pit that she was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so back. I'm into him again. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Not that she ever wasn't, but you know, you lose the fire sometimes.
We all go in the early stages of dating. You're like, oh, that thing that they just did is really
Yeah, that's an
annoying.
ick. Something put me off. That just happens.
But I
And I
think
hate that
you
word
can-
ick. Oh, I
So
can't
do I.
stand the word ick.
So do I, because
Yeah.
I say ick, but I can get through an ick.
Right.
Like something can
Absolutely.
ick me, and then I'm like, yeah, but they don't really fit.
Yeah, yeah. And then they do something that like counters the ick.
And then they kiss me, and I'm like, yeah. Who do we think we have in there that can actually go the distance? We kind of talked a little bit about it, but you said Josh and Sophie.
Yeah, they're strong. I think
You're interested to see about Callum and Jess.
I am because they're
Yeah.
getting on really well.
Yeah.
And it is like Callum is such a chill dude, but so had you seen him for 2-3 more weeks with her, it would have developed way more.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see where that goes.
Georgia H, and Anton.
Yeah, I feel like they're building nicely towards the end. I think they took an absolute beating in the challenge yesterday, and I think that's going to throw some spanners in the works. But look, if there's ever a couple that can get over that, I'm pretty sure they can.
Yeah, Anton seems a bit down in the dumpies. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think he's guided with it all. I think he does really like her, and
He does.
think and I equally believe she really likes him. I think she's actually just probably a slow burner, which is completely fine to be.
Also, she did say, all of my previous relationships, I haven't been treated very well.
There we go. So she's not used to it.
Yeah, and
She's-
I've experienced that. Like
100%.
I've experienced that thing of when you suddenly date someone that's like really supports you in your, in my case, weirdness.
You don't know how to get it. You
Yeah,
don't
you're
have
like,
to
oh,
understand
this
it.
is lovely, and also it's terrifying.
Because it's like, why? Why are you being so nice? Exactly.
Yeah. They seem to have a little bit of a wobble last night, but you do think they're real? Because Mitch and Hannah, when they came on last week, were like,
I've seen this, yeah.
Yeah, they
But
were
again, different times to me. Like I've come in much later. They at their time, it might not have been so. It might not have been so proper.
but when you were in there,
They seem good.
Yeah.
They seem good.
Sophie and Josh, we're obviously lots of love for Sophie, and they seem, I mean, I think everyone's very shocked because it sounds like, I mean, I don't know that much about Josh.
Sure.
But it sounds like on the outside he's moved pretty mad. I don't know much
Yeah.
about it.
Again, like I've known Josh for a few years now, and obviously he's a bit of a party boy. He loves going out and stuff, but who doesn't, kind of thing, you know. But look, I think they seem pretty solid in there. I do think Villa Life and Villa couples are different to when they get on the outside. So I think you'll always have to wait and see how they will get on the outside, which will be interesting. But look, you can definitely build a strong connection in there. So hopefully it's strong enough.
Molly and Tom?
Yeah, they're doing well. They're doing well.
If you were to put a bet on, how much would you, because I'm of the opinion that Molly and Callum might happen. You said
You
earlier.
really want that to happen.
Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Everyone
I'm
does.
impartial.
Everyone does.
Molly, but you kind of said no, you think that Molly and Callum are
don't
done.
think
So
so.
what, how much money would you wager that that's not going to happen? I want to see how sure you are.
On
Molly and Callum not happening before the end of the series.
I'd probably put my bank on it, really. I can't see it happening. I just can't. And it's such a short period of time left.
Would you put your hair on the line?
Oh,
Would you shave your head if Molly and Callum got back together?
absolutely not. No, there's no chance.
Okay.
There is nothing that can make
So
me
you're
shave my
not
head.
that sure then, are you?
Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not. We've made me question myself
Yeah.
now. Because money's just money, you know? My hair, that's everything to me.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to
can
say
tell.
I'm gonna have to say no. I'm not willing to risk it.
Right, so I'm just going to put that out there. He's not willing to shave his head in the belief that Molly and Callum are not going to get back
No,
together.
I'm not. I'm not willing. I'm sorry.
Joe's keeping his hair, and we're keeping our hopes up for Molly and Callum. Okay, Joe, we're going to get into you now. We saw you say "that's mad" at the end when you went, "That's mad."
I just shocked, absolutely shocked.
Bonkers.
Yeah, it just felt like.
Did you think you were going to have immunity because you'd been there for only 3 days?
Look, the immunity is obviously now announced, so I didn't hear the immunity get announced. That being said, you would think that people would be like, cut him some slack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been in for such a short period of time. And they knew that anyway. And they knew that me and Arabella were super early days. And you never know, someone else could have walked in. Who knows? These things you just don't understand. But they had such a long period of time in there. Also, again, why I believe that like Molly and Tom are probably favourites. They've had the longest time in there as a couple. So that's what people are seeing. So you'd think you'd give the newer person a chance to find love.
Yeah.
And like, especially when the question is, who deserves a second chance at love? I would have hoped it was me.
I agree, and I also thought it was, for me watching it, I was like, if you're going to send out Joanna, send out Chris.
Yeah, because he
But they didn't want to because everybody loved him in the villa. That was the thing, is that, not to say they didn't love Joanna, but I think he was such a person. Well, that's
pivotal
what because they were all shocked when they were kind of reacting, being like, why is Chris like upset?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, because he doesn't want to be there without the person he really likes.
100%, yeah.
And I think that was what shocked me, as I was like, if you're going to send her home, send him home.
100%.
Because then you are getting a chance at doing whatever, and other people who haven't been in there. But this couple who maybe aren't going to, you know, it seemed at that point that maybe Callum and her weren't happening.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, because I thought
strange.
it was so random to send home Joanna, because
Yeah.
it was like, she's literally got 2 options in there.
Well, she was so confused also. She was like, what? Like,
They've got, she had 2 people in there that she was interested in.
as soon as we walked out, she looked at me. She literally looked at me and was like, I can't believe that just happened.
It was random. I would love to see the behind the scenes like chat of how they got there.
Also, I'm literally looking at the fire pit, and there are some I'm good friends with a lot of people there. A lot of people. I'm not as close with Josh and Sophie, no. But the rest of the 3 couples, I'm very cool with all of them, and always
Yeah.
have been. And
Yeah.
and especially with Tom, that was the biggest like heartbreak for me. I thought, because I've obviously watched it back now. Not that it was hard to watch back. I literally watched it back while making breakfast.
Yeah.
It was that short. But no, I've known Tom on the outside world now for about a year. I knew Casey before he went on the show, so me and Tom become close. I've been there for him for his breakup, last one, and I've been a pretty solid friend to him. The same way I was in the villa. Like, I didn't choose to go for Molly. I would never have done that to him.
Oh, but you would have.
Look, in my opinion, here we go. So look, I was always going to choose Arabella on the day of.
Yeah.
However, when I did enter, I was confused and conflicted. That being said, of course, look, I found Molly attractive. And I do like her as a person. I've known her on the outside. She's a really, really cool girl, and she's very
Seems
nice.
like a sweet girl.
And she's grown up. She's very mature, and that's the kind of thing you'd look for in someone. But I wasn't gonna spoil. I would rather see other people have love than myself, so I'm not gonna spoil that. But no, honestly, it was. So when I see him vote for me, it was like he just agreed with Josh. I thought, what a cop out! Like,
Yeah.
I've been a good friend to you. I literally said to him after choosing Arabella, he literally looked at me and went, I was winding them up all day. I was, just playing around with your boys, and he went, man, I really thought he was gonna pick Molly. I said, I'd never do that to you, bro. I love you. and he literally done me over, and I thought that's so bad for
That's
you.
not cool.
Proper snaky, man. But hey, I guess I'll get the chance to talk to him when he comes out about it. But I'm just gutted. In all honesty, I didn't expect it from him of all people. Everyone else, Josh and Sophie, I kind of get. Like, I'm not as close to them guys. I kind of understood it. And they obviously are gonna have their opinion. And I'm aware that everyone's entitled to their opinion. But when you think someone's your friend, you just don't expect it.
No, I agree.
And especially that's what I've seen back. All I've seen back is him going, "Yeah, I agree, Joe and Joanna." So, cheers, Tom.
Well, would you go back in if you got asked, as in another series or later in the series? Or
This is the
whatever?
thing. I see this, all these messages and stuff after, like, oh, you deserve another go. And I always heard that the third love is the real love. So
Where
you
did you
know,
hear that?
I've read it somewhere.
Okay.
I said-
Well,
I heard
it must be true.
Your first is
Oh, that's true, actually.
You know what I
Your
mean?
first is like the baby love,
Yeah.
then the second is the learning love, then the third is the real love. Guys, I've had like 4, so I'm freaking out.
I've had 4 too. I don't like us. We're so similar. Oh my
It's really
gosh. No, but
scary.
yeah.
I want to go back to one of the funniest things that I found, which was that everyone called you out for being a red carpet attendee. And I'm not going to lie, as I said to you when you arrived, the only times I've ever met you is
At
at
a red carpet
event.
Yeah. Yeah, no, look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I went from making sandwiches at 5:30 a.m. in the morning for people who are going up to London in Bromley
Yeah.
to going on a TV show and then being invited to stand on red carpets with huge celebs, and it was mind-boggling. I get to take my family, like I take my mum, I took her to the Magic Mike one, which was a bad idea.
Oh, that's so sweet and weird.
Not when there's like strippers dancing around and
Yeah.
stuff. And she was happy, which I was happy for her, but then also was very conflicted in how I felt.
Yeah. Sweet and weird for
This is
you.
the thing. Me and my brother love the MCU. I take him to any Marvel one, the Avatar, all these things. I take all my family to, and I love it.
So obviously, everybody, this is the first time that everybody going into the villa has been in the villa before.
Yeah.
But what were the worries that you had ahead of going back in for a second time?
Look, I think for me, it was last time I didn't exactly get the best time. I think when I come out, it was a very, very tricky scenario, and it was trying to deal with everything and press and stuff like that. I'd never been used to it. Again, I was a sandwich man. I didn't get all this stuff. So yeah, that was a very, very hard thing to face. And I remember it like affects with your family and friends and all that jazz. So I'm thinking, this is it's a very, very highly scrutinized show. So it is that worry of going back in, and you never know what can happen after. But
Was it hard for your family when you came out?
oh yeah, last time it was so tricky. They had my family has never done any of this stuff. Like we're
Yeah.
just so like that. I think it was hard for them, but it was so nice to kind of come out this time to like, however short, but like see positive feedback and stuff, and people actually being really, really kind. And I hadn't experienced that before last time, so I was like, it was just this like such a heartwarming feeling that people got to see like the real me, and I was just so buzzing about it.
Yeah, because there's no way of controlling the narrative, so it's nice to come out and see that it's good.
I know, and it was so nice, and like even silly things like I remember seeing like a video of me opening the door for Joanna, and everyone's going crazy, and I'm like, the bar is so low nowadays, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through the same door anyway. I would always open a door for a woman. Like I don't understand why.
I like that you have mentioned that the bar is low, because I really think that is a good point, guys. People out there, the bar is low if you think that's the best we can get.
No, I just
Yeah.
like God, all those doors.
But you did run to that door.
Yeah,
You
of course. I'm not gonna let her open it for
You were
herself,
literally
bless her.
like, no.
Slow-mo jogging over to the door.
Superman. Like,
And I was so annoyed at the time as well. Like my mind wasn't even working well, but I knew I see the door. And I was like, I've got to run.
Raging.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so annoyed, but I must be a gentleman.
Yeah. Chivalry is not dead.
No, it is
It's
not.
still very much
but
alive.
it's still the bare minimum.
Yeah.
How much drama was there in the villa compared to your series? Do you think it was more dramatic? I know you were only in there for a short time, but you did have a lot of challenges and stuff.
I think way more dramatic.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we've done this before, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's amped up for there to be drama.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of big personalities in there. That's the one thing I recognized as soon as I got in there was how many big personalities are in this villa at one
Yeah.
time. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a very, very, let's just say like drama-filled house, and it was constant. The last time we was, again, very, very new, never done this before. Everyone was just chilling, and then the little bit of drama would kick off, and it should be quashed pretty quickly.
Who's the big drama person, do you think, in there?
In this villa right now, look, I think you can tell Josh does not mind stirring the pot at challenges. He is happy to say whatever he feels and yeah, stir it. So
Josh is the queen of drama.
Yeah, I would say he definitely loves a bit of drama.
I love
but
that.
he's brilliant with it. He's so good. He just says what's on his chest, and it, regardless whether it's gonna cause drama or not, he just says it. So
Oh, slay for him. But
Got
you
it
noticed
right.
a lot more drama this time.
yeah,
Palpable.
definitely. Yeah, like dead chill. It could be literally chilling drama like that, just flips, and I'm like, oh my.
And you're
Where
just
am
sat
I?
there like,
Where am I?
you're just-
Sunbathing.
you're
Like,
sat there like, what's my love language?
yeah. Do I like physical touch? Is that me? No, I don't think that's for me.
It. Damn. On to the next one. We heard from Mitch last week that there was a broken shower in the villa.
Yeah, he said the outdoor shower was broken, right?
Yeah, he couldn't move on from the fact they wouldn't let him fix it, which I was like, fair enough, because he is trained in that.
He could have fixed it.
But what was the actual villa like? Was there lots of broken stuff? And
I want to let Mitch know that shower is very much fixed. And I've done a few shower scenes in there.
shower scenes?
Was their body soaked up, giving it some.
And was it warm?
Yeah, it was warm enough.
Mitch, babe, you can relax, you can sleep at
Did
night
Mitch
now.
get sent back out there to fix the shower?
Well, that's what we said last week. We were like, we should get him back in.
I thought I
as a
saw someone who
bombshell.
looked like Mitch when I was showering. He just had a hat on and sunglasses. Maybe it was Mitch fixing the shower.
And that might be down to us doing a campaign last week on TikTok.
Get Mitch back. for
Get
the
Mitch
shower
back and fix the shower. He was desperate to do it.
Well, good. I'm happy he fixed it. Thanks, Mitch.
Mitch also said that the hairdresser was rubbish. Did you experience that?
I didn't get a hairdresser. My hair is every 3 months. You know? I have.
My hair is every 3 months. He's so serious.
Me and Chris
about
have the same hairdresser. Her name's Beth and she's awesome.
Yeah.
And I actually left her a ring for Chris the last time I had my hair cut. He then takes it into the villa and he wears it. He wears it on the first episode. And my mum sends me a picture like, he's wearing your ring. That ring got passed around so much. It got passed around to Toby. And on the ring, in Latin, it says, fortune favours the brave. So that's why Toby says it at the fire pit. That ring then gets left to Joanna in her makeup bag when she left by Chris. So Joanna now has it on a necklace. This ring has been passed around so much.
That makes me so happy. Do you know what? I did speak to Chris and he said the fortune favours the brave thing to me. And I went, didn't Toby say that? And he went, of course it was Toby that ended up getting out.
Yeah, of course.
So funny.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
was like, I just love your little friendship of all of you loving each other and teaching each other different phrases like fortune favours the brave.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I feel like, look, no one else, has, like, other than Islanders have had that experience. And it's almost like a little bit like weirdly incestuous, but we all just understand each other in a
Yeah.
sense, even though drama kicks off. That's why you see it quash so quickly the next day, because we all get it.
Also, I'm not going to lie, but heart emoji that Joanna's wearing it around her neck.
Yeah? No. It was very cute.
Was there anyone else on the series that you had snogged and didn't tell anyone previously? Who had you snogged that was in there?
Right. Me and Georgia H had a kiss very long time ago.
Yep.
Very long time ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. It was genuinely ages
Yeah.
ago. And it was just a very friendly kiss. That's not friendly. You can't kiss friendly, can you?
You had a snog.
We had a snog, and then it went nowhere. We're just friends. And then I did, I also, because obviously I see the chat, but I had kissed Molly recently, yeah. I say recently. It was,
I love it. Was recently.
It was Halloween. It was just an event.
That's recently.
It was an event kiss. It was an event kiss. It was what it was.
An event kiss? What's
Yeah.
the difference between an event kiss and like a house kiss?
The difference between an event kiss is that it's very obvious. It's very bloody obvious of what happens. And then everyone knows about it. I even had Tom calling me the next day. Did you kiss Molly Smith last night? I'm like, yeah, that happened. Everyone was calling me the next day like, what? And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, no, but again, I didn't pursue
A
anything.
kiss causes shockwaves across the Love Island.
And it won't, because at an event, everyone's there and it's weird, you know, and I love my red carpets.
You know.
So I'm always there.
Yes.
I like a kiss. A kiss is pretty normal, but I never pursued it because I was going to go to Australia in December. So I just thought, you know, and I don't know, Molly's a cool girl, but I didn't think about. And also I kind of knew who people were going to go on All Stars. You know, the time's coming up. Every time you see December roll around, if you're with a Love Islander, be careful.
Yeah, why?
Because let's see, if it might be another one next year, and people will be getting the buzz.
Do you know what though? I think it's gonna come back because
You reckon?
it's done bits. Yeah.
Well, let's get Joe back in for a third time. Come on, I need another go.
Did you know people that were going in then?
I think, look, we all see the leaks before. I was leaked ages before. I managed to keep it really secret from everyone.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone talks, so I think
Yeah.
people definitely knew. You can even see Casey doing TikToks with him and Tom talking about it before they went in.
Did you bump into anyone on the beach? Because I guess you were a bombshell. So like,
No.
Did you know who the other bombshell was though?
The chaperones keep you very, very close knit, and they always have their locations on, so you don't actually bump into anyone.
This is the part of the show we like to call Pillow Talk, and we can't spill the tea in the villa without popping on a pair of sunglasses. So, Joe, please join me. Today's big question is, should we get back with our exes? Joe, over to you. Because obviously there's been a lot of getting back with exes in the Love Island villa. Talk to me.
Oh, I'm conflicted on this. Previously, had you asked me a year ago, I'd probably say absolutely not. An ex is an ex for a reason. The classic line everyone uses.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think you can get back with an ex. I think a lot of people think the grass is greener and they don't realise you just have to water your own. So this is exactly what it is.
Just lots of sayings, lots of sayings.
Lots of sayings. So yeah, I think a lot of people have breakups because they think they've come to that point. And this generation is terrible for breakups. Because we think, there's so many other people out there because we look at social media and whatever else. And then you realise, actually, she was the love of my life or he was the love of my life. And then you have to go back. Do you know what I mean? So I think why not get back with an ex?
Yeah, I think in the right circumstances, I've actually definitely got back with quite a few exes.
Well, there we go.
And, I ended up becoming best friends with one of them because we got back together and we had such a great, time, but it just wasn't
very mature
a
of you
romantic...
guys.
Yeah, we're literally best friends now. But I don't think it always works.
Right.
But it always teaches you something.
Lessons, never losses.
Yeah, and if the person is right for you, right, they'll always come back into your life.
It's the path, right? I always say you're on
Yeah.
a path, you might veer off, but if it comes back on. Harmony.
Do we think it's going to work in the realms of Georgia S and Toby? Do we think they're going to work on the outside because they were sort of...
They're inseparable in there.
Yeah.
They really are. All the time together, they've really got each other's back. So I
He
hope
is quite relationshipy as well, I think.
Yeah, he's a good guy, man. And the growth in Toby has been so... from the boy I met when he first came off the villa to now, he's grown so much as a person, as a man. Yeah, I'm sure he could have went about things in a better way. And he did apologise for that, the fire pit the other day. And I was proud to see him say that because it takes a big man to apologise. And I'm good on him. And he's made decisions and he's stuck to them. He's a man now.
He's a young boy, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's turned 18 now, I think. So, he's come of age. No, I agree. I think he does seem to have evolved.
I think so, yeah. And I think he's really shown his maturity towards the back end of this.
Yeah, and I wish them all the best, and I hope they are happy, because the thing is, I can't think of a phrase. You think of one where it's like, one of the ones that's like, you can't
make a cup of tea without a bag. Something like that.
There we go. It makes no sense, and that's what we're going to leave you with.
But it does at the same time.
You can't have a cup of tea without the bag, you old bag. Thank you so much for listening to Under the Duvet, the podcast. We're dropping brand new episodes every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and you can watch the whole thing on YouTube on the Thursday at 12 p.m. Joe, a huge thank you for joining us. Can you tell everyone why they should leave a like and a review on this video or podcast?
Leave a like and review because we are incredibly single and it's Valentine's Day and it's very sad for us. So yeah, just a love heart down below will do.
Exactly. Feel sorry for us and therefore promote the podcast and the YouTube video.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Emotion through sympathy.
Yay! Yeah. Thank you so much to everybody, and thank you especially to Joe. Let's hope you find love at some point.
Me too.